So here we have a 2009 Toyota Avalon 3.5 liter. We've already checked it. The ignition coil on one side is arcing through. It has a bad spot in it. I'm assuming it's the spot right here. That's all. You can see where it's dirty. You can see the top of the plug. See how it's been arcing. It built all that crap on top. So we're doing a connector. We're just focusing on this cylinder for now because that's all he wants to do. So we're putting a brand new plug in just to be sure. And then we are going to be doing an ignition coil and a pigtail. The spark plug, this spec is 39 to 49 or 43 thousandths. It's fine right in the middle. So we get the plug in. It's tight, and see, non-existent locking extension. I need to buy a set. So we put a Denso spark plug in here, or yeah, it was a Denso. Then we're also putting a Denso ignition coil. I hope this is the right one because some of these are different. I'm not too sure. Yeah, this one will work. Okay, cool. We'll put this in here. It's gonna blow away. So let's put that over there for now. Let's go ahead and tighten this 10 down, and then we'll do the wiring portion, and then we'll see what happens. Perfect. So let's get rid of these two. It's nasty. Okay, yep, my favorite, Dorman. That's all we can get today. Of course, they need it back for the weekend. You know how that goes. I'd be a very rich man if I got paid every time I heard that. I hate Dorman stuff. These connectors aren't that bad. Yeah, truthfully, they're not. I don't really mind using them. I would never put like a Dorman ignition coil, or I don't even know if they make ignition coil. I sure hope not. Look at the length on these things. So we're gonna plug it in, make sure it's the correct one. Cool, it is. So we're gonna start splitting this one open. Of course, I do have a razor blade. I just try to leave my razor blades in my trays. So we're gonna cut this open. I'm gonna try to cut it open on the spot where it's already, so we're gonna stay in line. Try to split it open without damaging it too much. Okay. Nice squeaky brakes. Good old Toyota. We'll get them all spread apart. I cut that, that's fine. We're gonna be going through that. So I start on one side. I just line up next to each other. We're gonna start with this one. We'll go further back. And these wire strippers, Knipex, the 1262 180s, amazing. Absolutely amazing. If you follow Mikey Pipes, I watch him. He has some. Says they work great. Sure enough, I got them on Amazon. I think they're like 50 bucks when I bought them, at least. But they work amazing. They work very, very well. So, the $1 billion question, how long should I make this wire? I don't want it to look like crap. I'm gonna make it just a little longer, just to give us some leeway. I'm gonna use my wire strippers. It's a fail on my part. And I always try to do one wire at a time because you get confused. I know I do. I hate that. I hate it when it bunches up. Connectors are a little too tight for these. Kind of funky. It's Dorman for you. It's got a good solid connection. Give it a nice tug. That one's done. The next one's going to be the green. I don't have enough room to off-center them, so I'm not going to right now. I usually sometimes try to make it look nicer, but in this situation, there's not enough room right here unless I make a loop, and I'm not going to. I don't really care if it has a look. The harness looks a little weird with a bubble in it. That's not the point. The point is, as long as the repair is done properly, that's all I care about. And it's not gonna have a, it's not gonna fail. That's the main thing. I don't really care what it looks like. I mean, sometimes I try to, but I prefer function over fitment. These connectors, I hate that. I hate how they bunch up in there. Oh, see that right there? So you always check them. Always. Sometimes you can sneak them back in. Another bite. No, this connector. That's what happens when you use dormant connectors. It sucks. Trim that off. I think these are 3M ones. See if we get a better bite. Nope, didn't get a better bite that time. Okay, so we're going to bite it with the big end. Don't like doing that. I hate that. Try to roll it, try to get most of the wire in there. Oh, it's tight now. Okay, next we have red. I'm gonna cut it with these. What a pain in the butt. That's how my day's going though. How my week's been. Everything likes to fight. Trying to get good parts. I'm trying to even get parts. The game nowadays. The stuff that we, you know, some stuff we can get in the time of matter. Some stuff takes freaking months. I'm trying to find engines right now. There are like 5 vehicles that need engines, and nothing. I don't like using that side. As long as it's a tight bite. You can see I tug up pretty good. Because I don't care if that connection is going to fail. I want to know it's going to fail. I'd rather know now than find out later. With another misfire. That's a big wire. Not my finest work, but what are you gonna do? I like to make them a little long in case there ever is an issue, like with that butt connector that didn't seat all the way. Okay, now my favorite part. It's a torchable. So you should never use direct flame. It's not ideal. I don't know, I lost my attachment, my torch. So as long as you're careful, that's just the, yeah, I got a little char wire. It's a dormant wire. Get underneath him. Try to get them all so get seeds. Don't want to try the wire. Look at that one freaking ripped open. Oh my god. How fine, it's just gonna take more time, so we're gonna be very careful with this connection. So these, I have a little kit that I bought a long time ago. You gotta be very careful, especially these cheap connectors. We're just gonna pull it out, just like that. Now we're just gonna slide a piece of heat shrink over it. Seal her up, buttercup. No. Don't really get a good choice nowadays. Can't really get anything anymore. It sucks. Everything's on back order. Ridiculous. Okie dokie. How's that look? Looks like crap now, but you know what? This one we gotta make sure we put it in the right way. I'm gonna assume it goes in this way just because of the angle of the wire. I think I'm right. Nope. So I actually meant to go that way, but it's okay. Okie dokie. So that looks good. So we're just gonna cut this loom at the base of it. Okay, just check it, make sure it's not leaking.
Oh, what?
Check it, make sure. Did you feel, would you have the air on the whole time, the air conditioning?
Yeah.
Does it work?
It's really low.
Is it? Yeah, that's okay. It's an old truck, but is it cold? Here's my black tape because I ran out of 3M tape again. It's a hot commodity here. I tape it up. I know it looks like crap, but there's no bad connections in here. It's not gonna fail. That's why it's got a warranty.
I had the window down.
Okay.
Oh, I need to make sure the wheels start. Well, that side.
Yeah.
I took that side off.
Okay, yeah, go torque it real quick.
You know what I do after that?
We'll figure it out. Yeah, that's the prettiest wrap job. I think I want to put it like this. I know the other connectors are broken. The customer doesn't want to address that right this second. So we'll deal with that at a later date. And that's okay. Remember, the customer is always right. This guy is actually really cool. So that's done. Now, after spending 3 days on that, everything seems to be taking me a lot longer today for some weird reason. Next, we're going to start on this. The typical torque mount. This one hopefully shouldn't take very long. But as my day has gone on, I'm going to realize that stuff happens. I don't really want to bend that. Wrong way, dummy. Dummy. I'm hitting the hood struts. And looks like I have to push the brake line down out of the way, of course. I hate modifying brake lines. Let's try a little sneaky poo. I'm not bending the brake line, I'm pushing it out of the way because I don't want my socket to rub on it. I am gonna have to push it down to get this piece out, get the bolt out. So there's one. You see it's nice and broken, typical Toyota. And let's see if I still have my brain. Got a nice cheap one straight from the mainland, China. Straight from the mainland of China is this beautiful mount that I told you guys, always a fun. Never ceases to amaze me. Oh, but that is life. Okay. There's that. I'm gonna get them both started. That, and then again, we're gonna push the brake line down and out of the way. tight. That's tight now. Don't forget to tighten the 17 down here. Okay, there's that. Okay, now it's all tight. I gotta put the coolant reservoir back in. Make sure you get this popped back in. That's in. May not look like it, but it is. Okay, now I'm gonna start it. So now we're in the Avalon. We're test driving it. So far, it seems to run just fine. The steering is a little noisy there. Aware of that too. But doesn't feel like it's missing. So let's see. This TPMS light's on. And these ones are real typical for these coils to start going bad at this mileage. You know, it's hard for people to afford doing all of them at the same time because it gets very expensive. Especially on this one. Thankfully it was on the front bank. If it was on the rear bank, I would have recommended to change all the ignition coils back there. Just a suggestion, you know, it's not a hard recommendation. Obviously we can't recommend something that's not broken, but we can suggest to the customer that it's a good idea to change them all. I had a Lexus that I had to do that too, because we had to pull the plenum to inspect for a misfire. And you know, obviously you can't visually see when, especially these Toyota ignition coils, generally they just go out. You know, they don't show any signs. They're not like they're cracked or, you know, they're arcing off something else. They're just dead. So there's really no way to test it, and I don't want to pull an intake off and swap the coil or do something and then put it back on and check it. So you obviously just make sure the engine base is good. You know, if the plug's wet, you know it's getting fuel. Just make sure it has good compression, and you know, you just kind of gotta use your brain about it. But you know, that one we pulled it, and it was obviously a bad ignition coil. So I recommend to do all three, at least do the three back there just to get them out of the way. And they want to do them all, which, you know, it's the guy's daughter's car, so he wants it to be reliable. And that's what I would have done if it was my vehicle. Change them all. You don't have to worry about it. These Toyota ones just seem to go bad like that, especially around 200,000 miles. They'll each one just start falling off. But you know, you can only do what you can. I'm not going to force somebody to change them all. We're just going to change a bad one and tell them, hey, just so you know, the next one's going to be coming soon probably. And there's already 2 new ones in the front, I believe. So I think only the last one, I think it's number 6. Number 6 is left. And once we start going to the back, I'm not too sure what's going on in the back of it, but if we have to go to the back of it, I'm going to recommend to replace all 3 of them. And this customer will, you know, might be okay with that. You know, but it seems to run good. You know, no flash and check engine lights for a misfire, so I'm going to call it done. So we'll see you guys on the next one.